Little boy, he was loved, but not quite good enough. Her kiss is sweet, but his father's touch was a little rough. Love always made him wanna pull away, and that's what he did, 'cause he couldn't see another way. Father's angry words playing on repeat. He never looked too deep inside for fear of what he'd see. And as soon as he'd get home, he'd want to run away. So he left them, 'cause he couldn't see another way. I don't want to see everything you see, even though your darkness stays a little piece of me. But now I know why you'd always turn away, despite trying every day. You couldn't see another way. Who's naughty and who's nice. He keeps his southern whiskey and his bitterness on ice, and he railed at the injustice every day. And he never stopped, 'cause he couldn't see another way. I don't want to see everything you see, even though your darkness stays a little piece of me. But now I know why you'd always turn away, despite trying every day. You couldn't see another way. As he was, but nothing she could do to prove that he would be enough. So he told her that he was poorly made, and he left her 'cause he couldn't see another way. I don't want to see everything you see, even though your darkness stays a little piece of me. But now I know why you'd always turn away, despite trying every day. You couldn't see another way.
Delighted to welcome as Artist of the Month, Kate Ellis. Now, we've just played one of the tracks off Kate's new album, Another Way. The album is called Spirals. I find that song, Another Way, fantastic. It moved me, Kate. What was your inspiration in writing it?
Well, it actually came about, it was after my dad passed away, and I was very close to my dad. I loved him. And we always had a real connection. We actually had a real sort of musical connection as well, because he's from Louisiana and I was born there. And so I got a lot of my kind of love of Southern roots music from him, and listening to his, albums he had around, and stuff he would play. He was kind of like a self-taught musician as well, and he would play guitar and play songs for me. So anyway, we had a very wonderful connection. But there were aspects of him that I never really understood, and found so a little bit difficult at times, and sort of remained a bit of a mystery. And I was just, I think I was just playing around with the guitar. I can't remember exactly, but the concept of how you don't see any other way to be unless you see another way to be. I know that sounds very obvious to say that, but actually I think it's quite profound, because we all are really doing the best we can do based on how we see the world and how we see ourselves and how we see the people around us. And sometimes it's just, we don't see another way. So that's the way we are. It makes sense to us, and it doesn't always make sense maybe to the people around you, your loved ones and everything. And there was something about that realization that I found really helpful, and it sort of allowed me to just kind of like 100% just accept him, and not, analyze or question, or, why is it this or why is he like that? And just to sort of just love him in all the ways that he was, and kind of felt like I also just kind of understood him. But I suppose it was also, the song I think touches on the more kind of philosophical idea in general, that is the case for all of us. We are always doing what makes sense to us, unless we see another way. And then sometimes we do. And then sometimes, something quite big in our lives will change, because we're just like, oh, I didn't realize there's this whole other possible route to take that can be very transformative. So yeah, it was very, I'm pleased to hear that it was moving, because it was very moving to write, and it was very sort of healing for me to write.
Absolutely. Now, you said there you grew up, or you were born in Louisiana, which is where your dad was from. You were raised in New York, and then you came to London. What's the sort of journey? What age did you move up to New York, and when did you come over to London?
Well, I was under a year when I moved to New York. So I was really raised in New York, and London. So yeah, I mean, I was an adult, and I had done law for a bit in New York, and then decided I didn't want to pursue that, and sort of started getting into music. And I met my husband, who's English, which is why I'm here in England, in New York. And he's also a songwriter, and we worked together on the music project as well. And yeah, he had to go back here for his job, and I thought, oh, I'll see what London's like. And actually, I thought, I have an English mum who moved to America to marry my dad. And so I thought, oh, I have family in England, how different can it be? Definitely realized, very, very different is how different it can be.
London's very different to New York.
Yeah. And even having an English mother, like, you're not prepared for the culture shock, I don't think, until you come up here. But I've been here for a long time, and it feels very, very much my home now. And I've got 2 kids.
Now let's play another song off the album. I'm going to play Bluebirds and Rye. What was the inspiration for that song?
That song actually was inspired by thinking about things I actually wanted to tell my daughter, and it was, when she was quite young. And I saw her struggling with a lot of the kind of emotional turbulence that I definitely did struggle with as well. And I felt like I just wanted to impart to her, it's all going to be okay. Just kind of let all that kind of ride itself out, and, just you're going to be fine, and sort of, I guess, empathizing, but also just wanting to share something that was supportive. And so it came out a little bit like I'm speaking to her, writing a letter to her. It sort of came a little bit like a message in that sense,
Hey, little girl, are you looking? Are you looking for me? Hey, little girl, 'cause you're looking like a picture that I used to be. And the waters around you are rising, and you don't know if you've got the fight. Just stop holding your breath, find a soft place to rest. There's nothing but bluebirds and rye. Hey, baby girl, see, I know the drill. You're wearing your secrets and lies. Sometimes you feel like a shadow of me, looking out through a new pair of eyes. And the waters around you are rising, and you don't know if you've got the fight. Just stop holding your breath and find a soft place to rest. There's nothing but bluebirds and rye. Build a world and the cracks show up everywhere. Fall in love and you find out they never cared. How much worse if you gave up and never dared to love? Hey, little girl, it's not far away. You will have your day to shine. Trust me now, it's too hard to live when really you're just scared to die. And the waters around you are rising, and you don't know if you've got the fight. Just stop holding your breath and come lay down your head. Always be bluebirds, there'll always be bluebirds and rye. There'll always be bluebirds, there'll always be bluebirds and rye. There'll always be bluebirds, there'll always be bluebirds and rye.
Now, this is your second album.
It is.
Was it easier to make than your first, or was it more difficult?
I think in some ways possibly easier, as you kind of, I guess, get more experience under your belt of songwriting and learning how to shape the songs into what you want, and learning what kind of sound, you want to bring those to life with, just the more you do, I think the smoother that process is. So my first album, well, first of all, my first album probably had a lot longer period of songwriting, because it was like songs that I'd written over, quite a few years of sort of leading up to finally releasing that. So there was a lot more, I think, figuring out, what was the world that I was in musically, and how did we want those songs to come out, to be fully formed as. And then this album, I mean, there have, it was a few years between the two, but it wasn't that many years. And we had this wonderful producer, John Reynolds, who, I mean, he's, done a lot of Sinead O'Connor and Indigo Girls and all these different people. He's a brilliant producer. And he had a real vision of, what he wanted to do with the songs, but at its heart, it was always about what is the heart of the song and how do we bring that out to its best effect, rather than, okay, well, this is the genre and everything's going to kind of sound like this. I don't think he's interested in that at all. And I'm not interested in that. Like, I love albums that sort of cross genres and have variation between the songs. And so I think he did an amazing job, understanding the songs and then sort of bringing that, bringing their emotional truths out in a musical way.
Now, in another way, you're playing piano. In most of the other songs on the album,
I'm not personally on the recording, but on the recording, someone else, a much better piano player than me, is playing piano on the recording. But yes, I do play that part.
You play guitar as well, obviously. When you're composing, do you tend to make or start the songs off on guitar or what? Or do you play piano?
It's a bit of both now. I mean, guitar is definitely more my instrument. Piano is something I more do. Actually, songwriting, I find it quite helpful to do stuff on piano, because I think getting out of your normal instrument, getting away from your normal instrument, gives you a little bit more freedom from like those sort of habitual, musical paths that you can get a little bit stuck in. So I think it's helpful for that. But I'm not as good a piano player as I am a guitar player. So a lot of my writing is on guitar. Yeah.
Now, the next song we're going to play is Wonderland, which you teamed up with an artist for the video for that, and she produced some brilliant paintings. Did you know her before you did the video for it, or was that all part of the making of the video?
Well, we reached out to her because we were trying to find the right artist that would fit with this project. And we found her through a friend, I think, another artist friend recommended her. And first of all, she just had such an interest in nature and in the environment. And she on her social media, we saw she'd done a lot of interesting work in Scotland and also working with the actual materials of the landscape. So she'll, use wood and sort of string. I'm not sure what kind of string, but she would sort of make like a kind of a harp on the actual, wood out in the landscape. And so she was obviously, it felt like it was a good fit for that reason. But we also just loved her work and loved her art. And originally my thought was it would be an artist who would be painting one painting over the course of the video. And then when we realized she had this wonderful sort of fast, instinctive way of making sketches as she moved through the landscape, we thought that was an even more interesting sort of thing to document and to interweave with the music. And so that's what it became. And it was just,
because it's lovely at the ending of the video when you go through the book of sketches that she's done. That's beautiful piece of work in that.
My heart's aching. Every inch of me is shaking. See the beauty that we're breaking, a wonderland. A willow weeps into her cup and sees her fields turn to dust. The trees that stalk me from all sides, with eyes of 100 fireflies. Dead oak frozen like a lightning strike. Autumn color like God's own bonfire light. A crown of leaves rain down on me. My heart's aching. Every inch of me is shaking. See the beauty that we're breaking, a wonderland. I see the knot set in the bark, like a bullet in its heart. Lava flowing down the trunk. We're all going up in smoke. Red oak frozen like a lightning strike. Autumn color like God's own bonfire light. And a crown of leaves rain down on me. My heart's aching. Every inch of me is shaking. See the beauty that we're breaking, a wonderland. A
Now, question I always like to know, who's your favorite artist? Not painter, but music.
I mean, I would probably say my first love was, I mean, I loved loads of artists when I was young and kind of getting to know this kind of music, but probably my first deep musical love was Bob Dylan. And I think that's, probably remained the case. But I also, like, I love Nancy Griffith. And lots of other, I mean, Leonard Cohen, Mary Chapin Carpenter, I mean, loads of people. But yeah, Dylan's probably the one that I guess I'm just, I don't know, I've just sort of always been kind of in awe of his music in some way.
And do you like his acoustic phase or his electric phase? Because he changed over time.
Yeah, I mean, I like both, but I probably less the sort of real rocky hard rock, when he went into sort of really kind of a rocky sound, it was probably my least favorite bit. Yeah.
You've been playing for a while. You've done loads of gigs over your time. Where's your favorite place to have played?
I really enjoyed, I've had a couple of wonderful gigs at Maverick Festival, which I've really enjoyed. They have a lovely vibe there. And yeah, it's I've done 2 years there now, and yeah, there's something quite special about the place and the people and everything. So maybe that one.
And another question I always ask, which I think all of us who've played gigs have had horrendous gigs, or we have funny stories from gigs that we've played. What would be your funny story from a gig you've done? Have you got any?
Well, I probably there was a gig, and I can't remember where it was. I mean, it's been great because I've been sort of exploring all over the UK. Like, you know, being from America, I don't really know a lot of the UK, but I've sort of been getting to know it based on, you know, doing gigs. And of course, now I can't remember the name of the town. But in any case,
That could be a good thing, Kate, because you're not going to get.
But I developed basically with over sort of like a couple of hours before the gig began, terrible sort of case of laryngitis. So I literally lost my voice, and it was way too late to, you know, back out or change anything. So what we figured out we could do is we dropped all the songs down about 4 or 5 half steps, you know, semitones. And I was able to sing it. I was just able to sing it sounding like Johnny Cash, not like it was the weirdest experience, but it was really quite fun. It was kind of liberating. I felt like I was like an alter ego of myself.
And the people went away from that gig thinking, I never realized she had a deep voice.
I did explain it to them, so I think they were in story, but it was very funny.
I love it. There's always
not ideal.
Stories. Now, the album comes out formally on the 24th of March.
No, the album comes out on February 18th.
Which you've got the launch party at the Betsy Trotwood.
The launch is on the 26th of March, which is a Saturday, I believe. Yeah.
You looking forward to that? You got a big crowd coming, or is it a cozy little affair?
It's quite a cozy venue, but hopefully there'll be hopefully it'll be packed, which would be nice. I'm very much looking forward to it. You know, having sort of released 4 singles now, it sort of feels like this has been like coming. I've been introducing this body of work for several months, so it's going to be really nice to sort of properly launch it and get it out there.
And the album's called Spirals. What was the inspiration to call it Spirals?
So Spirals is one of the tracks on the album, and I think 2 reasons. I mean, I think we just I normally choose a title of, well, normally this is on my second album, but you know, choose the title of one of the songs to be the album title. So that was the one that sort of stood out, that felt right. But also, in a way, the theme of that song is quite a good indication of kind of the theme overall of the album, because the song is about how we, I should say how I speak about myself, can go around and around in circles in your head. And, you know, you can sort of go down paths of trying to figure things out, or, you know, ruminating about stuff, or, you know, just becoming sort of sucked into something that actually isn't even real. It's just sort of, it's that process of rumination. And I guess I've been doing a lot of thinking about that, and how I do that, and how that's usually an enormous waste of time and energy. And so I think this song is a little bit about my journey figuring that out, and actually kind of finding that way to step out of your head and sort of be somewhere else, like be in the world, or, you know, just sort of sever that connection a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of theme of sort of the emotional and thought-based kind of whirlwinds or traps that we can find ourselves in, and how to kind of find your way out, I think comes up in quite a few of the songs. So we also thought it was just kind of a nice overarching kind of concept, maybe.
Yeah, nice piece of artwork, which you're wearing as well, the artwork of the
yes,
album there.
Spirals t-shirt.
Having launched the album, have you got many gigs organized, and where can people find out where they are?
So if you go on to kateellis.com, and if you could go into the live section, you'll see all the gigs and how to get tickets.
Last track we're going to play off the album is The Story You've Been Told. It seems an appropriate thing with our just chat so far that we've got the story you've been told about the album. What was this song about?
I think a lot of my songs are me talking to myself, sort of working things out, or trying, almost like reminding myself and processing ideas and things that are helpful. And this was definitely one of those songs, because I think it was, again, this sort of realization I've had recently of being aware that, we have all these stories that we just accept as reality about ourselves and about other people too, or other people have stories about ourselves that we just accept. And it's all made up. It's all completely made up by us or by other people around us. And it's a long process to try to fully realize how, shaped we are by those stories, and to extricate ourselves from that. But I feel like that's a quite important process for me. And so I think this song was sort of me talking to myself, but it's also, talking to everyone else, really, about the truth of that, and that we are not those stories, And I think you can get lost in those, and they can be really destructive, if they're the wrong stories. And it's really wonderful to be able to liberate yourself from that, and sort of see yourself and other people not through those filters.
I don't know what you've been told. Every time I ask, you always turn to go. Why you standing in the cold? I don't know what you've been told. I don't know what hurt the most, when you were left alone or held far too close. And now you're hiding in your home from everyone you know. I don't know what you've been told. So throw your ghosts away, they're not real anyway. Keep your head held strong and low. When you feel you're breaking, it's just your past unmaking. You're perfect, you are whole. I don't know what you've been told. When you were on your mother's knee, she couldn't see beyond her suffering, you see. And you were more than she could hold. And we don't know what she was told. Now only you can know. But have you ever thought of simply letting go of the lies that you've been sold, the dreams you cannot hold, and the story you've been told? keep your head held strong and low. When you feel you're breaking, it's just your past unmaking. You're perfect, you are whole. I don't know what you've been told. I don't know what you can see. Everything you are looks beautiful to me. I see your heart, I see your soul, and that's all I need to know. Don't let it weigh you down. There's nothing to be found in the story you've been told.